Now, everybody knows about the fights over unions in Wisconsin, but there's also another fight going on around the issues. And that's the fight over facts versus propaganda.
I mentioned the folks outside have every right to be heard, but there's 5.5 million people in this state, and certainly the taxpayers of this state have every right to be heard. We're not going to allow for 1 minute.
For the current fiscal year that ends in June, Wisconsin is in the hole $145 million.
I don't want to spend time with the Tea Party's getting their country back. It's very simple. It's reduce the size and scope of government. It's get government out of people's lives. It's lower taxes. It's get rid of regulations. It's get
that Fox lies. Okay? Fox lies.
Well, first of all, this isn't about the budget crisis. Let's look at how his arguments migrated. First, he said the budget crisis was caused because workers were paid too much in Wisconsin. We now have studies that show they're not overpaid, they're underpaid. In fact, people with a degree in Wisconsin get 25% less than their private sector.
Under Walker's plan, unions could no longer negotiate for anything but salary and wages. Also, employees would have to contribute half of the state's 5.8% contribution to their pensions and pay 12.5% of their health care premiums. Walker argues these changes bring state employees more in line with the compensation provided in the private sector.
The alternative in this budget alone in fiscal year 2011 is to look at 1,500 layoffs of state employees, or up to 200,000, close to 200,000 children who would be bumped off of Medicaid-related programs in the next biennium. If we were failed to make these changes, it would be the equivalent of anywhere from 5,500 to 6,000 state employees that would have to be laid off.
Despite what you may have heard about Wisconsin's finances, Wisconsin is on track to have a budget surplus this year. I am not kidding. I'm quoting their own version of the Congressional Budget Office, the state's own nonpartisan Assess the State's Finances agency. That agency said the month that the new Republican governor of Wisconsin was sworn in last month that the state was on track to have a $120 million budget surplus this year, even though the state had started the year on track to have a budget surplus. Now, there is, in fact, a $137 million budget shortfall. Republican Governor Scott Walker, coincidentally, has given away $140 million worth of business tax breaks since he came into office.
Is this just about ideology? Is it about union busting? Or is it about really getting serious about shared sacrifice?
It's about budget. It is about the fact that Wisconsin, like many states, is broke. And the idea is, okay, let's make a very narrow agreement over wages and for 1 year is going to solve the problem. Governor Walker understands, as every governor understands, it is not enough just to kick the can down the road to next year. People act like this is some right, that these are collective bargaining rights. There's no right to this under the Constitution.